How was everyone's Samhain? Did you do anything special? Let me know in the comments. Also, totally cool if you didn't. So, for Samhain this year, even though I generally tend to do things all through October, I do a little extra on October 31st. I put together a small altar to honor the season, which I posted a photo of in my socials, and then added some votive candles for friends and family that have passed on. I also did a little mirror scrying, went for a brisk walk, sat and crocheted for a bit, and did a tarot reading. Now, I know I've done a number of single card readings and whatnot since the beginning here on the podcast, but I think it's time to really dive into tarot. Talk about what it is, how it started, and dive into each of the cards. That means that this episode will be a little bit longer than our usual half-hour dives. Hey, I'm April, and we are on a witchful journey. For people who are unfamiliar with tarot, there's a distinct image that generally comes to mind. You know, the older Romani woman who tells the future for a fee. It's often associated with dramatic readings, kind of like you'd see in the films. There's also this idea of tarot being either evil or a total scam. Of the two, I can understand why many people avoid or are afraid of tarot because of the scam aspect. There are bound to be scammers out there. If you're from Italy, though, chances are you view tarot as something completely different. See, tarot was originally just a card game. It was first recorded as a game called tarocchi sometime in the mid-1400s in Italy. I don't know a whole lot about how it's played, but I do know that it seems complicated enough that it probably was created sometime prior to it being recorded. The decks for this game included what was the standard 56-card deck, broken up into 4 suits of the 1 through 10 value cards and the 4 face cards, King, Queen, Knight, and Knave. Each suit has its own symbol: cups, swords, batons, and coins, but also included 1 wild card, the Fool, and 21 trump cards that were figural, similar to the German card game of the early 1400s called Kernüffel. The decks were made of sheets of paper that were pasted together to make them thicker. They usually had a border and were hand-painted. Surviving 15th century decks are rather intricate, and some of them are even luxury decks for the wealthy, containing bits of gold. The card game took off and spread throughout Europe, since seafarers, merchants, and traders often sought ways to entertain themselves on long journeys. It wasn't until 1781 when French pastor Antoine Coeur de Gébelin published an essay associating tarot cards with ancient wisdom, specifically ancient Egyptian wisdom. He developed a theory, and I say theory because at that point no one had deciphered hieroglyphs yet. The guy who would eventually come to be known as the man who deciphered hieroglyphs was only about 9 at the time Gébelin's essay was published. And Gébelin didn't provide any historical evidence to back up his claims that tarot originated from Egypt. Anyway, Gébelin developed a theory that tarot held parts of the ancient Egyptian Book of Thoth within their images, placed there by the Egyptian priests. He theorized that these images were then brought to Rome, where they were taught to the popes. Secretly, of course. From there, the popes brought them to Avignon in the 14th century, where they were introduced into France. Also included in Gébelin's Monde Primitif is an essay that connects the trump cards from the deck to the Hebrew letters of the alphabet. His essay was what prompted suggestions of cartomancy, otherwise known as divination by cards. By 1783, an occultist and fortune teller named Atea, aka Jean-Baptiste Alliette, developed and published a technique for reading the tarot cards, assigning divinatory meaning to each card, both for upright and reversed positions. And he created the first deck that was specifically for cartomancy. He even included Egyptian symbolism in his designs. And voila, tarot reading was born. In 1861, Eliphas Levi published Dogma et Rituel de la Haute Magie, hopefully I pronounced that right, which helped transform tarot into an esoteric tool for serious occult practitioners. By 1886, Arthur Edward Waite published his translation of Levi's book in Britain. 2 years later, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn was established. The society only survived under that name for about 5 years, but in that time, they studied the occult and practiced ceremonial magic. It was with the help of this society that tarot became established as an occult tool. By 1909, the iconic Rider-Waite-Smith deck was created, and is still in print today. Is tarot an ancient form of divination? No. Is it fake because the claims of tarot originating in ancient Egypt were unfounded? Nah, it depends on how you look at it. See, if you're wanting your practice to only include things that were practiced in ancient times, then I would say maybe don't use tarot as your form of divination. There are plenty of ancient forms of divination that you can use instead. If you don't feel the need to stick as closely to ancient practices as possible, then go ahead and use tarot if you want. You do you, babes. I'm not here to tell you what your practice should look like. Personally, I use tarot cards because I'm of the belief that you can use just about anything for divination, if it feels right to you. I find that the more I work with certain decks, the more of a connection I have with them, which results in more accurate readings. Today, tarot has developed into the form of divination that many of us are so familiar with. The structure of the decks hasn't really changed much in the nearly 600 years that they've been around. They still contain 78 cards, 56 of them being broken into the 4 suits with 1 through 10, Page, Knight, Queen, and King, which are now, in tarot divination, referred to as the Minor Arcana, as well as the Fool and the 21 trump cards, which are referred to as the Major Arcana. The tarot cards used in divination today differ a bit from the ones used in the card game. The suit of batons have mostly been changed to wands, and the coin suit has become the suit of pentacles. Not in all decks, but in a large portion of them. A few of the Major Arcana cards differ from the gaming cards as well. There are, however, 2 decks that generally are used for both gaming and divination. Those decks, if you ever want to check them out, are the Tarot de Marseille and the Swiss 1JJ Tarot. They're older patterns that were originally just for gaming, but have since been used for cartomancy as well. When it comes to the Major and Minor Arcana, each has a meaning. And if you're really looking into getting into tarot, I'm going to say 2 things before I go any further. 1, interpretation of the cards can absolutely be done intuitively. Don't feel like you have to memorize the meaning of each card. Though, as a beginner, it's really helpful to study the cards and their meanings until you get to a point where you can read more intuitively through your connection with them. And 2, this is your little reminder that this kind of stuff is great info to put into your grimoire, Book of Shadows, Witch's Tome, whatever you call your magical books. So if you haven't already, feel free to pause here and go get your notebook and a writing utensil. Okay, so the Major Arcana generally refers to larger spiritual matters and/or important trends or themes in the life of the person asking the question. They're also called the Greater Secrets. The Minor Arcana cards are generally about the more daily life type stuff, and they are also called the Lesser Secrets. The area of life that they refer to depends on the suit. So wands are about your actions, your ambitions. It's the fire in your belly, the spark that triggers creativity and transformation and passion. They're about the desire and the drive that gets you out of bed. Other names used for the wand suit are rods, batons, staffs, and staves. The pentacles are about what's real, the material aspects, the soil beneath your feet. They're about your success and how you use your resources. Not just financially, but your energy, your time. Other names for the pentacles suit are coins, discs, and stones. The cups are about emotions, feeling, relationship, and deep truth. They're fluid and raw, but they aren't going to leave you in a puddle on the floor just for the hell of it. They bring attention to the things that you should look into, and they hold space for you to process. Other names used for the cup suit are vessels, goblets, or chalices. The swords are about intellect, thought, perception, logic, and words. They're the wind that blows away anything not tied down in reality. They deal with personal integrity, tough conversations, growth, clarity, and honesty. Other names used for the sword suit are daggers, blades, spears, and knives. Let's break it down a little more and take a look at the number cards, all of which are also called the pip cards, by the way. These cards carry their base meaning and, when combined with a suit, shed light on a much more specific area and stage of something. So the ace, aka the 1 card, is the accumulation of energy before something is created. It's the blank page before the book actually starts. It's the pause between the inhale and the exhale. It's the seed about to sprout. The unlocking of a door. 2s are about union, a duality, balance, connection, relationship, partnership, taking the next step, or a yin-yang situation. 3s are about finding the way into the external world. Expansion, growth, development, collaboration. Sometimes about your crew, your ride or die friends, your real ones. There's usually a level of vulnerability that wasn't there before because of being in the external world. The 4s are the foundation, the structure, stability, the solid container. They can be an indication to rest in that safety before continuing, or it can be an indicator of growing stagnant, bored, restrained, or disappointed. The 5s are chaotic, unfocused, sometimes scrambling to grow out of the containment of 4. It can be about building on goals, reinforcing your base after it's been tested and the weak points identified. Sometimes it means conflict, change, struggle, loss. The 6s are a restoration of balance, harmony, and alignment. It can be about the flow feeling natural again. Small wins, new mini creations, feeling the sun on your face after a storm. It's the boat entering into calmer waters. 7s are independence, application of experience and attained knowledge. It can be about the fruit of your labors, or difficult decisions that need to be made by you alone. It's a reevaluation of the current path, and getting a new clarity on where you're headed versus where you want to be headed. 8s are the final stretch, commitment, a determination to achieve goals, and clear communication. It can be about taking the experience claimed by 7 and putting that to the test. It can be about last-minute decisions or distractions. It can be about not letting that ambition get the best of you in the worst way. 9s are the arrival of the end, whether good or bad. Sometimes it's the if-only card, the no turning back card. It's the pause before stepping out onto stage. Sometimes it can encourage. Sometimes it warns. The 10s are the end of the chapter, the transfer of energy, the time to reflect, to celebrate before a new chapter begins. Sometimes it's the utter joy that you get to bask in before starting on another journey. Sometimes it's the deep sorrow that you need to process before picking up and moving on. It can signal overwhelm or sustainability. The court cards, or face cards, are also sometimes called the people cards, or royalty. Each court card reflects the qualities of their suit and rank. They're still part of the Minor Arcana, but they follow a different system than the pip cards within each of their suits. They show us the energy of the suit within the hands of different stages of a person. There's a lot to the court cards, and it's easy to get confused by them, so we're going to start with just the basic stuff today, and then we'll revisit another time and dive a little deeper. Let's start with the page. The page can also be called the Jack, Knave, Princess, Herald, Student, Scholar, or Child. The page brings the energy of the playful child or adolescent. They're the dreamer, the explorer. There's an air of innocence and youthfulness connected to the page. And they can sometimes be naive, spontaneous, and hold lofty ideas of the future. There's a lack of understanding that the world may not cooperate with these lofty ideas, but the page is eager to explore and experience anyway. The knight brings the energy of the immature adult. It isn't necessarily a negative thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that the knight is silly or superficial or hot-headed, but rather that the knight still has some evolving to do. There's still searching and learning and experience to be had. The knight may struggle to express themselves without swinging from one extreme to another. The knight embodies the qualities of the king in its suit, but is similar to a teen or 20-something, where those qualities haven't quite been honed in yet. The queen is mature and feminine. She's the embodiment of her suit. She's relaxed, natural, and wields her immense power in a subtle manner. She doesn't generally use her power excessively, but that shouldn't be taken as her being weak or lazy. She still wants results, but can switch off and sit back to enjoy herself and the world around her. The queen is responsible for nurturing those she protects. She uses her intuition, her senses, and her maternal instincts, when necessary, to protect, defend, and guide her charges and her realm. Despite sometimes finding it challenging to separate her head from her heart, the queen provides balance and perspective. A queen in a reading doesn't necessarily mean that there's a female involved somewhere in the reading. It's about the energy and the qualities that the queen brings. And the king is mature and masculine. He's the one who gets things done. He embodies order, authority, discipline, and mastery in the areas that are associated with his suit. The king is strong, a leader of leaders, assertive, direct, and concerns himself with the practical ways of protecting his charges and his realms. The king has the ability to compartmentalize when necessary, which is why his focus is typically more on the outward events that are happening. Like the queen, the king in a reading doesn't necessarily mean that a male is involved somewhere in the reading. It's about the energy and the qualities that the king brings. Okay, so now we've got an idea of the suits, the pip cards, and the court cards. These are the absolute basics when it comes to breaking down the Minor Arcana cards. But how do we start to interpret the cards themselves? Why don't we start with the court cards within their suits, since that's still fresh? The Page of Wands. This page is excitable, energetic, and full of that brilliant fire. They embody curiosity and motion. They're easily inspired, and their focus is on how to manifest those ideas. The Knight of Wands. This knight is wildly charismatic, with a big ego to boot. There's a kind of attractiveness to them, because they're bold and confident. They can be a little demanding, a little loud, and a little arrogant, but that's because much of their confidence is bolstered by the validation from others. They haven't gotten a good grip on their power just yet, so it has a tendency to run wild and not really have a clear path forward. They can be fun at parties, though, because their charisma has the ability to draw in and inspire others. The Queen of Wands. This queen is confident, dynamic, grounded in her passions. She does life her way, which means she owns and loves every moment of the life she lives, which can sometimes mean that she has many admirers. But it can also mean that she might make others jealous. But she's not concerned with the opinions of others. She's done the work of going into the nooks and crannies and darkest bits of herself to find out who she truly is. And it shows. She's positive, compassionate, and so goddamn inspiring. She represents having true passion for your work. The King of Wands. Fueled by inspiration, like other characters in his suit, this king gets shit done. This king isn't just talk. If he says he's going to do something, you best believe he's going to follow through to the end. And like the others in his suit, he has a lot of charisma, but he's wiser, more experienced, and more grounded than the knight. So this time it's sexy. Others are drawn to his energy, They want to be around him because he, like the Queen, is so inspiring. The Page of Pentacles. This page loves exploration and asking questions. No topic or experience is shied away from. There's that childlike fascination for wanting to soak up everything like a sponge, especially when it comes to physical experiences or hobbies that involve using your hands. There's a lot of freedom with this page, because it's about the joy of the journey itself rather than any specific destination or outcome or product. Knight of Pentacles. This knight is dedicated. There's a wiseness to this knight, knowing that the road ahead is long and hard and will take commitment and diligence. But that doesn't mean that this knight has it all figured out. There can be a certain level of stubbornness or obsessiveness to this knight's determination in achieving their goals. And sometimes that means that the focus may not be zeroed in on the right direction. The Queen of Pentacles. This queen is the embodiment of self-care and compassion for others. She's grounded and has learned to listen to her body and her heart. She's able to communicate with her environment in a way that is almost magical because she has a deep respect for the world's resources. Sometimes this queen in a reading can simply just mean a rich person in the financial sense, but usually this queen is rich in the best ways. This queen is also generous and able to share her abundance because she knows that we are all part of the same world. The King of Pentacles. This king may sometimes be simply financially or materially rich, but usually it's a person who is, like the queen, rich in the best ways. This king has worked his way to where he is now. He knows the value of quality over quantity, and he doesn't feel as if he's lacking. In fact, he's aware of his abundance and is generous with any excess that he has. But he is also a good leader in the sense that he helps guide others on the road to success, satisfaction, and contentment, whatever that might look like for them. The Page of Cups. This page is open-hearted and eager to explore emotions and spirituality. They're playful on their journey and can see the beauty in things like intuition, magic, emotions, and spiritual practices. There's a desire to explore them all and to understand them all. The Knight of Cups. This knight takes his journey very seriously, unlike the page in this suit. This knight is almost consumed by the ebb and flow of following their heart and their soul. They've forgotten that the journey isn't supposed to be all seriousness and no play, and that may get this knight stuck, whether in an obsessive love or overly attached to a specific spiritual doctrine. It's almost as if looking the part of a spiritual person is more important than truly being a spiritual person. It isn't all superficial, though. This knight feels deeply, and because of the depth of those feelings, can sometimes get lost in them. The Queen of Cups. Like the other queens in the other suits, this queen has done the work to know who she is at her core. Because of this queen is able to understand people on a deep level. She's an empath, intuitive, and sees people for who they really are. This can make some people uneasy around her, because they have nowhere to hide. Even though all of the queens are witchy, any witchy practice can be associated with the Queen of Cups, and she is always ready to dive deeper into her practice and explore things further. The King of Cups. This king has also done the work, has experienced a lot, and moved through many trials and achievements. This king keeps his feelings closely reined in, and doesn't like to feel vulnerable. This may represent someone who has built sturdy walls around their emotions, or it could represent someone who holds a position that requires them to set their emotions aside in order to be able to guide someone else. The Page of Swords. This page is an explorer of the mind, ideas, thoughts, plans, and the why of things. Like all the pages, this page desires to soak it all up, hear from all perspectives, but may not have figured out what their own take is on something. They're on a quest for truth and justice and understanding. They just have to be careful about their sources. The Knight of Swords. This knight, as they evolve from the page, thinks they know all the answers, as many teens and young adults do. Like the page in this suit, the knight needs to be careful about their sources and fact-check before assuming they know a thing. But they're clumsy about it because there's a determination to get to the truth and have justice, even if it isn't for themselves. This knight believes that they're right, and that may even be true in some cases, but they can be wrong sometimes too. The Queen of Swords. This queen is strong, courageous, tenacious. She's become this way because of her experiences and lessons that she's integrated into her life. She knows that in order to live her life truthfully and authentically, she must do the work. She holds herself accountable, even when no one's looking. But she also knows that there is always more to uncover. She's aware and compassionate of the gray areas of life, and is able to articulate even the most uncomfortable of truths. She also has a vision for a fairer world, and that's why she does what she does. The King of Swords. This king is confident in his beliefs. He's less aware of the gray areas as the queen and has a tendency to lay down the law because he has such a strong sense of justice. That strong sense of justice makes him fair despite only being able to see in black and white. This king is an excellent teacher and speaker because he can see a goal and can plot the way toward it and anticipate hang-ups. Okay, so we've covered the court cards in relation to their suits. Now let's look at the pip cards in relation to the suits. The Ace of Wands. This card shows up to tell you to act on your inspiration. This card's your cheerleader, saying, do it, do it. It's that urge to start a project, create something new, do something, say something. This card says yes. The Two of Wands. This card is here to say, hold on, let's sit on it, feel it out, prepare for it. The duality is here in the excitement of wanting to get started and in the inaction of needing to take a breath and aim at the target. Get your ducks in a row first. The Three of Wands. This card is the green light that says you're ready to proceed. It's time to manifest. Four of Wands is a midpoint card, one that asks you to take a pause and look at how far you've come. It's okay to take a break before continuing. Five of Wands. This is a conflict card. This card shows up when some kind of challenge comes up and it wants you to ask yourself if engaging in it will be worth it in the long run. If it is, stick to your goals, your base, and what you know. The Six of Wands. This card shows up as a triumph. Something worked out well. It's also a reminder to stay humble, despite this victory of this one battle. The Seven of Wands. Sometimes standing in our truth can feel like a constant fight. This card reminds us to be proud of who we are, and, if necessary, to fight for it. It also includes standing up for others when necessary. The Eight of Wands. This is a forward-moving card. When saying what needs to be said, make sure your body language and actions line up too. Be clear and direct, and don't get distracted by trying to find softer words. The Nine of Wands. This card comes to recognize the weariness after putting so much energy into something. This card also reminds us to reach into that fire in our bellies for the motivation to keep going, because the journey is almost over, and it's worth it. The Ten of Wands. This card is our reminder that we don't always have to say yes. It's the reminder that if you're overwhelmed, delegate some things to some others. Or maybe it's time to step away, time to say, I'm done. That choice is yours, but remember that you are not the sum of your achievements. The Ace of Pentacles. This card highlights the opportunity or the beginning of something. Maybe a new job, lover, hobby, home, maybe a transition of sorts, or the decision to get in shape or start a business. Maybe an inheritance is on its way. This card asks, what will you do with this? Will you take it? Because you can decide not to. The Two of Pentacles. This card reminds us to find balance in or surrounding the new role that we've taken on. It's not from overwhelm, though, just that it can be tricky wearing so many hats. It may also suggest a decision needs to be made, if a balance can't be found. The Three of Pentacles. This card highlights your unique skills, within a group setting, whether it's your family, your coworkers, your friend group, or the world. It's about teamwork and community. How can you play to your strengths and encourage others to play to theirs? The Four of Pentacles. This card focuses on the self, whether in good light or bad. It could be about selfishness and greed, or it could be about needing to create boundaries to protect yourself. The Five of Pentacles. This is survival mode. It's a time when we're existing off of just the basics, whether it's from ill health, burnout, financial struggle, or depression. This card also shows up to ask what solutions there may be for what you're going through. It might be simple, small change that's needed, or something big and humbling. The Six of Pentacles. This card is about the redistribution of wealth. It's the flip side to the previous card. It urges us to share excess with others, but it may also be asking if that person who's in need realizes that they don't have to stay in that position. There's a power dynamic to this card, and it shows up to ask where in the situation you see yourself. The Seven of Pentacles. This is a midpoint card. Things seem to be going well, and it looks like there will be abundance soon with whatever started the journey. This is a time to pause and look around. Are there any adjustments that need to be made? Do you need to refocus your goals? Are there things still on track with your plan? Does your plan need to change? The Eight of Pentacles. Hone in your skills. It's a process, and you aren't quite done yet. This card celebrates the process and reminds us that while we do still have work to do, we shouldn't isolate and neglect ourselves in the process. The Nine of Pentacles. This card represents having created something that you can now relax and enjoy. It focuses on what you've achieved personally and celebrates the dedication that it took to get this far. The Ten of Pentacles. When you have it all, what happens next? Yes, celebrate what you have and take time to appreciate the magic in it all, but also know that this is the end of the journey. Your next one will be different, but at least you've got a strong, stable foundation while you prep for the next thing. The Ace of Cups. This card wants you to open up your heart and listen to it. You've got some emotional and/or spiritual growth about to happen. Embrace it. Two of Cups is an exchange, an opportunity to be vulnerable with someone, to trust someone enough to give them your cup, with all its pain and heartbreak and mystery and love, and be given theirs in return. It's a bold step, and one that many of us take tentatively. It's not always a romantic relationship, though. It could be a friendship, or even getting reacquainted with yourself. Honesty is important here, regardless. The Three of Cups. This card celebrates connection and community. Celebrate your friends during this happy, sociable time. It could also mean leaning on good friends or your community during a hard time for you, and having faith that they'll support you in your time of need. The Four of Cups. Stuck. Just stuck. Not blocked, not waylaid. Just stuck out of lack of motivation and desire. This card gives you the choice. Do you want to be bored and grumpy, unmotivated, and feeling empty? Or would you rather take on a curious attitude? Get creative. Feel into it. Or maybe you just feel stuck because your only real option at the current moment doesn't feel right. Five of Cups. This card is about pain, loss, and grief. It's a heavy card, but it's about letting those emotions out. Remembering that you are allowed to feel those things. Don't bother with the mask. You don't have to be anything for anyone right now. This card may also be pointing toward a past hurt that was pushed down, and now it's time to face it and work on healing it. The Six of Cups. This card is about kindness and belonging. It asks us to meditate on those things. Discover what it feels like to belong, to be rooted, to be grounded, and maybe inject some kindness into the current situation. Kindness does go a long way. The Seven of Cups. This is about making the impossible possible. To manifest desires. To turn dreams into reality. This card asks us, is it meaningful? Let your heart guide you on this one. Eight of Cups. This card shows up when it's time to make the hard choice and let something go. It hurts, but unlike the Five of Cups, there's acceptance here. It's a goodbye that says, I still have love, while also saying, this isn't sustainable and I still have love for myself. Nine of Cups. This is the feel-good card. The one that says you are enough. You have enough. You are safe and loved. Stop and be present in the moment. And maybe make a wish for something yet to come. 10 of Cups. This is the home card. This is complete fulfillment, simple celebration. And it carries a feeling of security and love, peace, and acceptance. It isn't always a physical home made out of bricks or wood. It could be a spiritual home or an emotional home. Ace of Swords. This card represents a new opportunity for study, writing, a new idea, a new perspective, a new truth. It encourages us to take a rational approach to the situation and take time to plan it out. The Two of Swords. This card shows up when it's time to quiet our mind and get back to what our own truths are. Whether it's by becoming selective of the other voices in our ears, who we follow on social media, or meditating to calm the constant buzz of thought and go deeper into ourselves to find our truth. The Three of Swords. This card signals pain, heartbreak, sadness, but going further, it's a card of resilience. The heart heals with time. We all have plenty of scars on our hearts, but we're still around to talk about them. That isn't to say that the pain isn't important. It's just that, eventually, you will rise again. For now, just heal. The Four of Swords. This card is yelling, take a goddamn break. You've been through it. You're tired. It's time to practice some self-care and rest. After all, some of the best ideas come when you're laying down to take a nap. But for real, this card wants you to get out of your head for a bit. Go for a hike, touch some grass. Take a nap, paint a picture. Go do something else for a little while. The Five of Swords. It's a battle, but a useless one. There are no winners in this situation. In other words, it's time to make peace and move on to something much more productive and positive. The Six of Swords. This card is about starting the hard journey of healing. We always carry our experiences with us, and sometimes they shape who we become later. We can't truly start over, but we can embark on the healing path and eventually be able to learn from the things that were once too painful for us to look at. The Seven of Swords. This card warns about sketchy behavior. Lies, half-truths, theft, hiding things, holding back information, manipulative or otherwise sneaky behaviors. They get put in the spotlight with this card, and we're forced to ask why. Whether you're the one with the sketchy behavior or it's someone else, this card wants it dealt with. The Eight of Swords. The mind can be a tricky thing. It has the ability to make us feel frozen or bound by our insecurities. We end up feeling like a prisoner to those insecurities. Each one looks like a razor-sharp blade, but they aren't really there. And it's hard to move past our self-doubt and fear, but there are options, if you're willing to pursue them. This can also refer to any mental health situations, self-destructive behaviors, and addiction situations. The Nine of Swords. So much anxiety. But with this card, it can be anything as light as worrying over whether or not you forgot to clock out at the end of your shift. Or even that thing that you were going to do and now you can't remember what it was. Take a breath. Don't judge yourself. And seek out some support if it's something that's got you really worried. The Ten of Swords. This card is what rock bottom feels and looks like. It would appear that all hope is gone, but it's not. Over the horizon is a new light. Hope. This is the closure of a tough journey, and soon the sun will rise on a new day, bringing hope, and you'll have to dust yourself off and be ready for the next adventure. Just remember, you'll need to bring a different energy for the next journey because it won't be the same as this one. Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the Major Arcana yet. For now, though, I'm going to let you sit with all of this, and maybe if you're up for it, see if you can read your own cards for a while. Thanks so much for tuning in and hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss out on future episodes, hit those like and follow buttons. In the next episode, we're going to be talking about Baba Yaga, a well-known piece of Slavic folklore. I can't wait to share it with you. In the meantime, you can find me on Facebook, Witchful Journey Podcast, on Instagram at @witchful_journey, on BlueSky at witchfuljourney.bsky.social, and on YouTube, A Witchful Journey. I enjoy hearing from listeners, so if you pop in, say hi, leave me a rating, or, if you're really feeling it, a review. And if you'd be so kind as to contribute, donate, or buy my next podcast coffee, whatever you want to call it, check out A Witchful Journey on ko-fi.com. That's ko-fi.com. You can also send stories and experiences to awitchfuljourney@gmail.com. I'm April, and we are on a witchful journey.